So I just wanted to inform people in advance, like, hey, these are some of the things that you can expect to experience when you go on this journey. Another thing is like, everybody's not going to be interested in what you're interested in. Everybody's not going to be excited to hear about all of the things that they don't want to know.
All right, RR the God here today.
What's the word, y'all?
Let's go from Detroit, right?
Yes, sir.
I think you're one of my first guests from Detroit, man.
Straight up.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
represent.
It's an honor, man.
Let's go. You've been there. I've been good. You've been there your whole life.
Yeah.
Nice.
Grown,
What
born and raised.
What do you like about it there?
I like the moral energy that you get from it, the characteristics and the character that you build. Detroit is like it's a tough town to grow up in. The energy of the people can sometimes be low, it can be high. So it's a lot of different type of people there, but overall, like, everybody is not always prepared to work together and things of that nature. So it just naturally builds a strong character out of you. It builds, everybody says, the people that they know from Detroit, it builds a hustler mentality.
Wow.
That's one of the things that I love about it the most.
So you got to develop thick skin.
Yes. And I like the weather too. Like, we get all 4 seasons. So that has kind of helped me with my music, I feel like, and just developing my personality. Like, on the West Coast, it's really warm most of the time. We get the winter, so that takes me mentally to a different place musically.
I will say I missed the winter. I grew up in New Jersey.
Did you?
We used to get snow and stuff, and being out here, I missed the rain. We didn't get rain for 200 days. And I love rain, man. My most creative moments are in the rain.
Straight up.
I play rain on my like playlist at home when I'm working.
That's what's up.
It's super calming. But yeah, sounds like an interesting spot. I need to get out there one of these days.
No, facts. Yeah, definitely let me know when you come up there.
Yeah, you guys had a good football season this year.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions, which is rare.
Yeah.
You guys usually suck.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
I want to talk about water. So you teach a lot of people about water, right?
Yeah, so I actually have a lecture that I did on water. It's on my Patreon. So what if I told you that there was actually a 4th phase of water? In school, we're only taught that there's 3, vapor, liquid, and ice. But there's actually a 4th phase, which falls in between liquid and solid. So it's called easy water, which stands for exclusion zone, or it's also called structured water, or H3O2. And it has like a gel-like component. And a lot of our body is actually composed of this structured water. It's in our cell membranes, and it's in our mitochondria, which is responsible for creating the energy in our body. It's in our cerebral spinal fluid. So it's in a lot of places. So one of the things that they found out about it is if you put a hydrophilic substance next to it, and hydrophilic means water-loving substance. So they took a hydrophilic gel and they put it inside of a container next to a bunch of water. And what happens is it creates an exclusion zone with the water. So imagine like a valley of water. It separates the negatively charged and the positively charged water. And they call the positively charged water the bulk water. The good water that we're supposed to drink is the negatively charged water, right? So essentially what's in the positively charged water, or the bulk water, it could be bacteria, it could be viruses, it could be solids or anything. It could even be salt. So the exclusion zone is probably about the width of a hair, but microscopically, that is like infinite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the power of this is that the fact that by just simply putting a hydrophilic substance next to the water, we're able to separate different things in the water that we might not have been able to other ways. So for example, let's say salt water. Another thing that happened was they experimented and shined thermal light onto the water. And the thermal light actually causes the exclusion zone, or the structured water, to increase in space. So when that happens, now we have negatively charged over here and we have positively charged over here. So if we were to do this with like salt water, we could actually separate the salt from the water.
Wow, that's needed.
Yes, it is. And so now remember, it's on a microscopic level. So not the average person can do it, but with the right environment and the right tools, we can separate the good water from the bad water simply with hydrophilic substances and thermal light. Not only that, but being that it's negatively charged and positively charged, if we get the right tool, like think of like jumper cables, how it's got the positive end and the negative.
Hey guys, shout out to today's sponsor, Kinsta. Running an online business is already a challenge. Your website hosting shouldn't make it harder, and I've been there, dealing with slow load times, confusing dashboards, and unreliable support. That's why I switched over to Kinsta, and it's been a game changer for my brand. Since moving to Kinsta, my site loads faster, runs smoother, and I don't have to stress about downtime. Their intuitive dashboard makes managing everything simple, and their 24/7 expert support means I always have real people whenever to help when I need it. Kinsta's built for performance with blazing fast speeds, enterprise-level security, and 37 global data centers to ensure your site reaches audiences quickly. They also handle free migrations, so switching is effortless, and if you ever get a traffic spike, Kinsta automatically scales to keep your site online when it matters most. I'm not the only one who trusts Kinsta. TripAdvisor, NASA, Indeed, and over 120,000 businesses rely on Kinsta for their WordPress hosting. So if you want hosting that works, just make the switch to Kinsta today. Get your first month free. They'll even handle the migration for you. Just visit kinsta.com/DSH to get started. That's KINSTA.com/DSH.
Negative end. If we insert an instrument into the negative side and into the positive side, we can actually create a battery. Now, think about how our body is made of 99% water. Well, 70% water volume-wise, but on a molecular level, it is 99%. So what that means is that if you look at the atoms in our body, you got like iron, gold, and all these other chemicals in your body. You're going to see water molecule, water molecule, water molecule 99 times before you actually see another molecule. So our body is really like on a molecular level, 99% water. So when we think about the fact that we can charge up, and like I said before, H3O2 is in our cells. It's in our cell membranes, it's in our cerebral spinal fluid. It's in a lot of different parts of our body that require or that are responsible for important functions. So just think about how important the sauna is for your body, because your body is using this H3O2 or this structured water to carry out these functions in your body. So being in the sun, being in the sauna, everything is constantly giving off thermal heat and we're charging our body. So it's just very important to be in the sun.
Wow, I love the sauna, man. I feel amazing out there.
Man, absolutely. I'll go to the sauna like almost every time I go to the gym.
Yeah, same.
Sitting there for about at least 30 minutes. If I don't do anything, I'll go into the sauna.
Yeah, man, this is crazy stuff.
Yeah, something else that's interesting about water is the fact that it has memory.
I've heard this.
Yes. So I'm sure that you've seen like them speaking into the water, and when they look at it or speaking into the ice, that it actually changes the shapes of the ice. Like they'll say a bunch of positive things to the water, and under a microscope, that water it has like a geometric crystalline structure.
Right.
And when they say negative things to the water, it just looks chaotic, has a bunch of bacteria in it or whatever. So they actually did a experiment where they took HIV-infected DNA. They took that HIV-infected DNA, put it inside of water, and they diluted it 30 times. So let's say that I took this cup or this bottle, poured it into a cup, filled it all the way to the top. We put some DNA in there, right? Then we pour it out all the way till it's about this much. We pour it into a new cup, and then we fill that new cup up with water all the way to the top. And we do that 30 times. So by the end of that 30th dilution, we would have the equivalent would be about a penny in the ocean of the HIV-infected DNA, right? So they take that cup, they record the sound of it with a microphone. They take the audio, they upload it to a computer, send it across the world, download it, and they take a new piece of DNA, or they just take the water and they play the sound for the water, and the water becomes back infected with the DNA.
Wow.
So just the vibration and the frequency of the sound of anything is affecting everything. And not only can they do this with HIV-infected DNA or just DNA period, they can actually do this with medicine as well. So they can record the vibration and frequency of something like Tylenol or Advil and play it for the sound of water, and you will gain the same effects as taking the Tylenol. And it's crazy because it just goes to show how powerful our minds is and our belief systems and the things that we believe. Or, I feel like a good practice too is to just speak into your water. Like lately when I get up, I drink tea or I drink water first thing in the morning. When I listen to my positive affirmations, I'll just speak it over my cup to put that positive energy into it because the water is holding the memory of all the frequency around it.
Wow.
Which is really important too when you think about our water system in general and the things that it goes through before it actually makes it to us. And I also feel like that's why like water in nature or just water from a natural spring is very important because we're getting all the vibration and frequency from nature. We're getting more in tune with the earth just by being around, these frequencies. And just for the audience as well, if you want to obtain direct structured water, you can get it from your fruits. So that is really the water that we're supposed to be drinking.
Yeah, the fruit water, like in strawberries, tastes amazing.
It does. Like even just doing like a fruit fast and just drinking nothing but, fresh fruits and like you'll really feel the difference and be more hydrated.
Yeah, fruit's high vibrational, right?
Yes, definitely.
I wonder what causes that. Is it because it's in nature mainly?
That as well, and the fact that is where our most natural water comes from. So in regards to like, I'm sure you've heard about the qualities and the benefits of fasting.
Yeah.
So what we're understanding is that the less that we eat, the longer that we live. Because, when people after Thanksgiving or a big meal, they say they got the itis. That's literally your body shutting itself down because it needs to dedicate energy to different parts of your body. It no longer has time to send energy for thinking power. It no longer has time to send energy for anything else but, hey, we need to sit down and break down all of this food. So why you end up going to sleep. Or when you get sick, the first thing that you do is you want to stop eating. Like everything makes your stomach hurt. And that's because your body's literally telling you, hey, you need to take a break and stop eating. So when you fast, after a certain amount of time of fasting, I don't know if it's 18 hours or 30 hours, your body actually starts destroying all of the bad cells in your body because it's seeing, hey, we're not getting any food and we realize that we haven't gotten this much food in a certain amount of time. So we need to go in, destroy all of the bad cells and reuse that for things that are purposeful. And that's why when you see people go on fast, they have all these benefits and these changes in their body because their body is literally healing itself. So when you think about the fact that our body is 99% water and fruits are 80 to 90% water, that's probably like the closest thing to fasting is just getting all of these fruits and obtaining this, just keeping your body on like this water-based diet almost.
That makes sense. That must be why I like fruits so much. It feels good eating them.
What's your favorite fruit?
Used to be strawberries, but for some reason they don't taste as sweet as they used to. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
It's crazy because a strawberry, the seed on it is actually the fruit. The red part itself is called the fleshy receptacle.
Oh, wow.
It's closer to a plant.
Interesting. Yeah, these days probably mangoes though.
Mango's my favorite. Man, mangoes is my favorite too.
Oh my God, a good mango.
Yes, bro.
I love coconuts too though.
Coconuts are good too. I didn't like coconuts originally, but I ended up getting used to it.
Yeah, it's kind of acquired, right?
Yeah, I feel like your taste buds change once you start eating healthier. Facts. I didn't like tomatoes for a while. Like I still would eat them like with certain foods, but now like my girl, she makes me salads. And when I'm eating it, I'm just like, I want some more tomato.
Yeah.
Tomato is just, and I feel like it's because your body, like our eyes are attached to our brain. Like they're the exterior part of our brain. So it's like your eyes are constantly observing and processing and it knows that I'm getting benefits from this. Same thing with drugs. Your body can recognize the smell, the sight of things. It stimulates and sends certain thoughts to your brain. So I feel like it's the same way. Once you start getting healthier, it just takes longer because you have to undo what you've already done.
Yeah. I used to love fast food, but now I can't even eat it.
Yeah, me either. Not really.
It makes me nauseous, even thinking about it.
Yeah, no facts.
I want to talk about auras. So I just went to Sedona. Have you been there?
No.
It's like a spiritual town in Arizona, but I took my fiance, we got these aura photos and it was a scam. Like we got the same exact results.
And I was like, what the hell is this? But I'm sure you're the guy to talk to about auras.
What kind of
They took a photo on a computer screen. We put our hand on something and we got the same exact results. So we knew it was
okay.
bullshit.
Yeah, so there's this guy called his name is Semyon Kurlian. I want to say he's Russian. Him and his wife doing testings in hospitals and whatnot, they end up stumbling onto this technology, and it's called Kirlian photography. So what it is that, okay, let's say it's called a electrophotonic plate, right? So they put their hand on this plate, and the plate has like let's say like a film over it.
Hmm.
And they put their hand over this film, and it sends electricity through this plate. And what the electricity does, it's a low voltage. What it does is it amplifies your photonic energy, or the light that's emitting from our body, because we have energy, thermal heat, all different types of energies radiating from our body. It amplifies it in the same way that this microphone is amplifying the frequency of my voice.
Hmm.
So, except that we're able to see it. Now, I actually brought these pictures because I wanted to show you. I'm going to send these to you so that you can
Yeah,
add
throw it up.
videos. These are actual glows from the photonic imaging device,
Hmm.
right? So that is somebody in a normal state. Now, you've seen what the chakra charts look like.
Yeah.
The root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar chakra. It goes from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, right? And we've known that the lower chakras, the root, sacral, and solar, are the lower self. The heart is the gate, and then the upper three are your higher self. Now, these states that are going on directly correlate with the color of the chakras. Like, that is the normal state, which would be at the throat chakra. So it's like right above the heart. And what does that one say right?
Emotionally aroused.
That says emotionally aroused. So the sacral chakra um has been known to be associated with like creative and emotional energy. So when somebody is emotionally aroused, that is the color that the energy around their hand turns. That's actually somebody's fingerprint,
Wow.
right? So this is a man and a woman thinking of an emotional fantasy or sexual fantasy. And see, the orange turns it's like a deep, rich orange. And red is also associated with, or the root chakra is also associated with like your more primitive or survival instincts, as well as sexual instincts as well. The sacral and the root chakra kind of are almost one in a sense. But if you look at the one next to it, that is two, what does it say? Two people angry?
Yeah.
So that's two people angry. And you can see how it's still in the lower self, but the orange is a little bit different than that one. And it kind of has blacks in it. But if you look in between their fingers, there's a bridge that's built in between.
Hmm.
So there's a wall of energy that was created because the two people weren't in agreement or were angry at each other.
Damn.
So have you ever been in a room, with someone, and y'all weren't getting along at the time, or it was a really bad energy and you just felt like, I got to get out of this room?
Yeah, for sure.
That is literally that energy field that is being created between you guys.
Holy crap.
Yes. So check that one out. That's a man when he's outraged, like his
Damn.
energy is
Like
just
electricity.
it's exactly. And it's super dark orange and reddish with blacks in it. Now, this is a man that's very angry. And what does that one say?
Feelings of love.
Feelings of love. It has the pinks, it has the purples and the whites in it, and we're moving higher up through the
Yeah.
body.
Almost looks like a rainbow, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, this one is a metal figurine. Now, what's interesting about this is the fact that that's not even a human being. That's just the object. So, like, that's deep because the first thing that comes to my mind is like voodoo, and, just when you walk into a room, you can feel a certain energy or feel a certain vibe where certain objects have certain energies attached to them.
Hmm.
And I feel like that has a big part to play with like just casting energy onto certain objects, onto certain things just in general. Now, this is a elbow before it's in shock, and that's after they put it in hot water.
Holy crap.
So we're able to see these things happening on a photonic level. Like, they're literally able to see the energy changing around people.
Yeah.
This is a picture of cooked meat and cooked food versus uncooked food, vegetables and meat. So like, it just goes to show like how important vegetables are. Cause I mean, some people can eat raw meat. You know what I'm saying? Some people can tolerate it, but not everybody can. But I feel like because there's so much energy in the uncooked meat, it just goes to show that the energy is coming from the blood. The nutrients are coming from the blood. And the same thing with the vegetables as well. Like cooking vegetables, we've known has like taken away the nutrients, like whether you're using a microwave or using the stove. That's why you're not really supposed to cook it at high heats or high temperatures.
Damn, this is nuts because it basically proves that you're cooking the life out of food.
Pretty much. Exactly. Wow. Now, this one is deep because this is an image of a leaf, right? And the first image is the leaf on the electrophotonic imaging device. The second picture is what it should look like if they were to cut the leaf in half, right? But that's actually what it looks like after they cut the leaf in half.
So it's still there.
It's still there. So with inanimate objects or just objects, period, now that eventually fades away after a while. But that just goes to show that even when something isn't physically here, the energy still remains.
Wow. That proves ghosts exist then.
Exactly.
Damn.
So that one is super deep to me.
Yeah,
like,
that's nuts.
That just lets us know that there's a whole nother realm going on that we're not even aware of. Now, this is a picture of a healer, right? And if you look over there, I believe that is the one. This is the healer projecting their energy onto the other person.
Okay.
And you can see the energy leaving the person's hand.
Right.
This right here is the healer activating their energy.
That's nuts. So they glow up.
Yes. And this is a man, what does that say?
Man, regular state.
Man, regular state. And then this is a man projecting his energy.
Wow.
Yes.
So that's like Star Wars with the Force.
Yes. Yes.
So that actually can happen in real life?
Yes. Now, this is a plant that has cancer, and this is a cavity, right? And it's starting to appear red. And it's crazy because how we associate all these colors and things with certain ideas and certain personalities or certain feelings. And you can see the cancer appearing inside of the plant. And they're using this technology in not everywhere, obviously, but they're using that technology to detect things that's appearing before it even appears in the physical.
Damn, I didn't know plants get cancer. This is crazy.
So it's like they can detect these negative illnesses and stuff in the body before it even happens. I mean, they can detect it in the auras before it even happens in the body.
Wow. So people should be reading their auras then.
Definitely. And there's I believe his name is Konstantin Kordakov. He actually he's advanced this machine because this stuff was discovered like, I want to say like in the 70s.
Wow.
And a lot of it takes place in Russia. That's where I've figured out a lot of their research.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff goes on over there. And this man, he's created this, I think it's called the BioWell, where you can actually put your finger onto this thing and it'll scan it. It'll read your chakras. It'll tell your auras. It even goes so deep to where he can show you like, yeah, on this day of this month, you probably had a bad day or was arguing with somebody.
That's crazy.
And I think he has, what is it called? He got like some type of award for it, like what goes on in the scientific community. So
I need to find one of those because the place I went to was just a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen ones like that too.
It's just a tourist thing, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Wow. Have you done one on yourself yet?
I haven't got the chance to.
Damn, we need to figure that out.
Facts. I do believe they have facilities though where you can go.
Okay. That's super important. Wow. So yeah, thanks for shedding the light on the importance of auras, man.
No, absolutely, bro.
Yeah, what do you got on the iPad too?
Oh, I'm just looking at some of the stuff I had on here.
Yeah, we got, language manipulation. We kind of touched on that, but basically words are powerful, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, words are definitely powerful. That was one of the reasons why my original TikTok got banned. I won't go too deep into it.
Yeah.
But
I'm banned right now too.
Oh, TikTok?
TikTok, yeah.
What'd they ban you for?
I had a guest say the moon landing was fake, so I got banned for that.
Yeah, they're really strict on TikTok.
On the conspiracies, yeah.
Yeah, the platform has definitely evolved since the first run on TikTok. But there's a lot of things with words in our English language. Like words are just powerful in general, the things that we say. Like I said, I've been doing affirmations, and just after doing your affirmations for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, you hear those words and those phrases replaying in your brain. It's like after you have a bad argument, you can think about all of the negative stuff and just get caught up in your mind. But it's one thing to say that, you know, I am successful, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and saying all these positive things. And then when you stop saying it, that's what your brain is filled with. And those are the thoughts that are running through your head. But with our the nation that we live in specifically, in regards to like I was breaking things down like, okay, for example, if we had a ship that was coming from China,
Yeah.
right? We often call ships motherships, right? And then the captain is also referred to the father. And then you have the cargo that's on the ship. You also have, and it relates because we operate under something called maritime law, and maritime law has to do with the law of the water. You got the law of the land, you got the law of the water, and you got the law of the air, right? And we operate under maritime law. So you have a mother or you have the ship, which is the mothership. You have the captain, which is the father, and then you have the cargo, which is the child. And that's why they call kids, it's a term, precious cargo. Right. So as the ship gets closer to land and is ready to deliver the cargo, it enters something called a birth canal. But the birth canal is spelled BERTH, not BIRTH.
Wow.
And the birth canal is an artificial waterway that directs the ship away from the rest of the ocean. Right. So when that ship gets closer to land, or when a woman's getting ready to have a baby, the baby goes through something called the birth canal, or it would be the precious cargo. Now, once the ship gets to the dock, they unload the precious cargo and they give them something called a certificate of manifest. And a certificate of manifest is basically a document describing all of the things that was just brought onto land. When a child gets to the dock door, or dock, like the actual dock for land, and the oar, which is a paddle that moves through water.
Yeah.
That is when they meet the world, or when they meet the land. And then that's as far as I'll go with that. But there's other things like how, like I said, we operate under maritime law, which is the law of the water. We say things like the market is liquid, or loan sharks and things of that nature. And then when we talk about banks, what does a bank do? It directs the flow of currency, like a riverbank. And then you got the currency of water, or you have currency, which is money. When we go to vote, like electricity, we vote at a pole, like the negative and positive ends of a battery, to elect, like electricity, to see who we want in power or in charge. So there's a lot of weird things that go on with our language, and it gets really deep.
That is crazy. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard spelling is spells, right?
Yes, definitely.
Damn. So they know how to kind of manipulate certain words, and like you said, you can really be influenced with the stuff.
Yes.
How you know.
Definitely. And it works in a whole nother way, in a whole nother system that it's deep.
And that's a good segue into the music industry, right?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of lyrics there that are planting messages in people, right?
Absolutely. I've heard somebody give an example of like how you can play a certain song with a catchy hook, and that hook just gets caught into your head. Like even the word hook, like you think about fishing hook to catch somebody in, or like a reel to even reel somebody in, you know? So it's like words are so powerful. And just like how we talked about affirmations, these, there's actually certain rhythms that can like negatively affect your body and your health. But we don't know, we can't tell the difference of what's good and what's bad. Something may feel good, you may be nodding your head to it, and it may not actually be good for you. In my oral lecture, I talk about, or Konstantin Kortakov, he talks about how after an orchestra, when they measure an orchestra conductor's biofield, you can see like it's bright right before they get ready to perform. After they perform, it's so many dips and tears into their energy, and their energy is just depleted.
Wow.
And it's because they're harnessing so much energy, as well as musicians and artists as well. And this is why we see a lot of artists and musicians go into this negative spiral a lot of times, trying to gravitate towards drugs, because they're using up so much energy, they're casting so much energy in between them and the crowd, that by the time they get done, their energy is depleted. Like using those creative processes requires so much energy. And people don't know this. They think, okay, maybe I just need to get something to drink, or, that's why meditation is so powerful, being able to take that time to just recharge yourself and recharge your body. So when it comes to the words, man, I think that it's very powerful because a lot of the things that you can say in the song, you can't say to somebody in real life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or a lot of the things that, females are dancing to in the clubs and listening to is like, if I were to just say this to you without a beat, you probably wouldn't be digging me as much. But
Facts.
females and, even men as well, they're amplified by this music because these beats, they do something to our body that just, it entrains us to think a certain way and to not think a certain way and just kind of bypass things. So I think it's very important and positive. Like, I don't think that all music has to be, super spiritual or super positive, but I think that each individual needs to have the balance.
Agreed.
And when we look at the music industry, there is no balance really when it comes to good music. And it's like, why is there so much negative music being pushed? How come we aren't pushing more spiritual and more positive things? Like, why wouldn't we want our community to have those things as a whole?
Facts. Almost all the top songs are about like a breakup or something negative, right?
So definitely something negative. Like, it's hard to even think about a lot of the positive songs that there are where they just not getting pushed as much. And not saying that there isn't, they don't have it out there, but each individual artist needs to have that balance of positive and negative.
Agreed. Yeah. That's why I favor the older music when I listen to stuff like 80s, 90s.
Yeah,
I feel like it was more positive back then.
definitely. And that's another thing too, like just the fact of using like real instruments, that I feel is different. Like with the samples in the records, like when they were recording off samples, the sound that was in the room, like if there was a party going on, that sound was ingrained into the actual record.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy because even if you put a record onto or a vinyl onto a record player, even when it's not turned on, when it's spinning, you can still hear the sound.
Damn.
And I think that is the craziest thing. And it's like the sound is literally engraved onto this object. So it's like the party that was going on, the energy that was held in the room is all stored on that sound. So
Yeah.
we're getting more and more away from digital. The average producer isn't using real instruments. They're using VST plugins, which I'm guilty of myself. But they sound exactly the same. Like I actually went on YouTube and looked up the difference. Like, okay, how much different does this sound from an actual synth or an actual guitar? And they get it to sound exactly the same, but the fullness and the richness and the feeling of the actual synth or the actual instrument is just, you can feel the difference.
Damn. Yeah, dude. Vinyl hits different.
It does.
I was on a cruise and they had a vinyl player. So it was my first time ever listening to it. We put on Sophie Tucker and it just hit so different.
Did it?
Because I went back home and put it on Spotify and it was still decent, but something about the vinyl just feels great.
It does. It's like a texture to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It made me want to buy a vinyl player, to be honest.
Absolutely. And it's just something nostalgic about having a record player and vinyls.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope the industry can figure out the negative stuff because I stopped listening to hip hop music, dude. I used to love it.
No, absolutely, bro. I'm the same way. Like, I'm not really listening to too many other artists outside of myself or the people that I enjoy. Like, some good artists I listen to is like, I like the Russell, I like Larry June. Like, you have to be talking about something positive.
Yeah.
Because I know what this music is doing to my brain. And that's the thing, like, some of these artists probably do know, but a lot of them don't. And it's just the frequency and the realm that they're living in. Like, your music is a reflection of you and yourself and your spirit. So it's like I said, you have to have that balance in what you're doing in your life. If you're not changing your life, your music isn't going to change either. And that is like even with some of my friends, a homie of mine, he's going through a different stage in his music where he just stopped writing music because he's like, bro, my life is changing. And he's like, I can't even write about the stuff that I want to write about anymore because my mind is in a completely different space. And like, that's happened to me before where, when it happens in spurts where it's like, you can either stay this way or you can continue to evolve or you can go back. And it's so easy to make music about bullshit.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to, calculate and become creative with positive things and things that people will actually enjoy. But I honestly believe that we're entering a realm where, like it's only so long for this music is people are gonna get tired of it.
Great.
People are gonna want something more. Like even when you look at the music industry right now, like I heard this DJ from my city talking about how he said that the problem with DJing now is that, you know, a song will go viral on TikTok, but you'll be playing the song in the club and they only know the viral part of the song. And it's like people aren't even, not only are they not interested in the artist, they're not even interested in the rest of the song. It's just a moment. And that's why these artists are going and coming and going, coming and going, and nobody's really maintaining any longevity.
That's how short attention spans are these days.
Absolutely.
People are only interested in a little snippet. Same with podcasts. People are only watching clips now.
Exactly. It's crazy, bro. Like we have to bring back that attention span, because I feel like if we don't, we're going to enter a bubble to where people's minds is just so easily distracted. Like I've seen like social experiments where they will have somebody come, like they'll have a woman with brunette hair.
Yeah.
And they'll, like, let's just say a woman comes in here with brunette hair. She talks to you about a subject. And then a completely different woman comes in with blonde hair and is talking to you about that same subject and pretending to be the other one. And people aren't even recognizing the fact that they're speaking to a whole different person.
Why?
Until they're told about it.
No.
And it's like that's crazy to think. And I feel like this instant gratification is designing our brains to think in that way.
Yeah, that is nuts. No, 100%. Even myself, I can't even watch a movie without looking at my phone now.
Dude.
It's terrible, dude.
Or you'll get on your phone and you'll be like, I need to get off. And then you instantly open the app right back up. It's crazy, bro. It's scary. Or you'll turn it off and you'll be like, hold on, I need to check something back on my phone and get back on it and then be scrolling again.
It's so addicting, dude.
It is.
Yeah. And I'm even aware of it and I still fall for it.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. You got a new book coming up?
Yes, this is Just Waking Up, the Spiritual Guide book. This is actually your copy, brother.
Oh, dude, thanks.
Yeah. That's that book is the guidebook that I wish I would have had when I first entered my spiritual journey. So one of the things that I talk about in there is like the walk of the loner.
Yeah.
You know, when you enter your spiritual journey, or you're just and spiritual journey doesn't have to just be about chakras and auras. Just when you're going down a path of changing your life, you know, it's going to be spiritual. And you're going to walk paths where you feel like you're alone. You're going to feel like, damn, I'm the only person that I really have, or the only person I can depend on in these decisions. Even if you have somebody alongside with you, this is on you. You know, if you guys both decide to stop smoking, or if you guys both decide to stop eating fast food, this is still going to be a battle with yourself. It's going to help that other people are around. So I just wanted to inform people in advance, like, hey, these are some of the things that you can expect to experience when you go on this journey. Another thing is like, everybody's not going to be interested in what you're interested in. Everybody's not going to be excited to hear about all of the things that you're going through, or they don't want to know. Like when I went on my plant-based journey and I stopped eating meat, I wouldn't say that I got backlash or anything like that, but it's like anytime that I tried to explain or something like that, it was like nobody cared about it. Nobody wanted to know. Certain people obviously appreciated the information and knowledge, but it was something that I had to realize in myself, like everybody's not ready to go through this path. And when you're new to all of this information, you want to express it and tell it to everybody, but everybody's not ready to receive. And it's like sometimes, you know, you giving certain information to certain people is like trying to teach a bird how to swim,
Right.
or a fish how to fly. Like it's not possible for them, you know, or they may not be in the form that they need to be to actually go down this path. So some of the topics that I touch on in there is the walk of the loner is one of the name of the chapters. I talk about the chakras. I talk about water, some of the things that we're talking about now. The ways that you can transition into a plant-based diet if you want to. And basically it's just a guidebook. Like anybody who's prepared to enter their spiritual journey, that is definitely the book. And what I wanted to do with it was make it a fair balance between spirituality and science. Like I feel like a lot of people are turned off by spirituality because they feel like it's just a bunch of woohoo.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, that's where a lot of my research came in, and looking into other people and studying science, because I'm not just going to believe into something because it looks good with this. Just because the tie goes well with the suit, that doesn't mean that it's the right tie, you know? So it's like you have to have that balance of science and spirituality, because I feel like spirituality is unseen science.
I agree. Yeah, I try to incorporate both. Do a lot of your ideas clash with religion?
Um, to be honest, it's crazy because in the beginning of my spiritual journey, like, I don't think a lot of people know, like, I started off as a Christian. Like, I was Christian, like, up till I was about 17.
Mhm.
I had got baptized, one of my album covers was actually me getting baptized.
Wow.
So, like, I went through that experience, and, I actually even remember catching the Holy Ghost. Like, that was something that I actually experienced, and I'm not a person who just, "Yeah, I caught the Holy Ghost." Like, no, I felt that pure energy, and whatever it was, I know that it was channeled by not only the people around me and the music as well. That
Mm.
music is so powerful, and that's one of the biggest components in the church as well. Um,
Yeah, they got good music. I won't deny that.
Absolutely, and we know that music can make you feel certain type of ways. If we play some Hans Zimmerman or, Hans Zimmer, you might start feeling like you ready to go save the world, or if we start playing a certain type of music, you might start feeling sad, or you might start feeling happy, so that we know that, um the energy of music is very powerful, as well as the energy of the people around you, especially when we're all thinking the same thoughts.
Mm.
Like, just thinking about these pictures and, the people when they aren't together, how it builds that blockage of energy. Just imagine when you have all these people who are on the same accord and they're all feeling these things. So I know that there's a spiritual energy and there's a divine energy. I just think that we've been usurped from that power by believing that it's been donated to us or that we can't experience it on our own.
Mm.
And so in the earlier parts of my journey, I felt somewhat angry towards religion, and because I felt like I had been lied to,
Yeah.
which I feel like I have been lied to in a certain degree. But as I got further down my spiritual journey, I started realizing how certain aspects of religion are coincide with spirituality. It's just that we call these things different things.
Mm.
Um, what you would call the Holy Spirit, we would call Kundalini energy, and the science behind those things. Or, like, there are very positive things about religion. Like, I like the fact that we can all come together and be on the same accord or be on the same mindset, and we have a place to do that at. But I also feel like religion has blocked off a lot of people's minds, and it's created this fear in them. Like, at the age of 3, I was getting baptized before I got baptized when I was 7. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like,
Right.
this isn't a decision that I'm making.
No.
So we're being conditioned to believe and to understand or to think about something or to like something that we don't even know. And I'm not talking about God, because obviously there is a God. There's some form of energy that has created all of this that we're experiencing. You'd be crazy to not think that.
Mm.
But it's our perception and the way that we perceive this energy is what I think takes people down different paths. And yeah, I feel like when it comes to certain things like just religion in general, not a lot of people are reading the Bible.
Mm.
Like, there's a and I want to be more specific too, like, it's mostly mainstream religion as well, because a lot of people that are reading the Bible, 90% of them 90% of them have not read it. 90% of them don't understand it. If you ask the average Christian or Catholic, have you read the entire Bible, whether it be straight to back or whatever, the answer is probably going to be no.
For sure.
So if we take that in consideration, you're basing your entire belief off of something that you almost don't even understand. Most people just know that they believe in God and they know that there's a higher power, but they're not actually studying and looking into it. Because if you talk to somebody who is really deeply in the Bible, their perspective is going to be a lot different than somebody who is just fear-based into it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's very important to know, at least know what you're reading. Like, I've heard people say, and I know this isn't everybody, but I've literally heard people tell me, like, science is man-made.
Mm.
And I'm just like, what does that even mean? Like, how could you even say that? And it's because they're like, this is the Bible, that this is what God has created, and this science is what's man-made. It's like your mind is so closed based on what you think that you can't even open your mind up to science. Like, I've heard people say that meditation is evil. Like, have you seen the benefits that they've shown behind meditation? Like, they did an experiment where they had um They had a group of people playing basketball, and they measured like their muscle increase or their ability to shoot free throws.
Yeah.
They had another group just meditate and think about it, and they had another group didn't do anything at all. Then they actually had all of them play again and actually shoot. They had the meditation group play basketball, and their percentage was only the main group that actually was practicing it. Let's just say they had like a 20% increase. The group that just meditated on it, theirs was like 16 or 17% increase.
Wow.
So it just goes to show you, because our brain can't really tell the difference between what we're thinking and what's actually going on in reality. That's why when you're watching scary movies, you cringe. Or, you know, when you're sleeping, you can piss on yourself in your sleep, or, you know, start crying in your sleep, because your brain can't interpret the difference between what's real and what isn't.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, to deem something like meditation as evil, or even yoga as something as evil, I think to me is just a lack of understanding, or just having a closed-minded mentality.
There's people that think yoga is evil. That's like the purest form of exercise.
Exactly.
That's crazy to me.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard people think manifestation is evil too, and psychics and stuff like that.
And it just goes to show that you don't really have an understanding of what you're doing. Like, even when you're praying, in a sense, you're manifesting. When you speak into, like, there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm going to be great. That's manifesting. And
Right.
I don't think people really truly understand that, because, oh, that's evil. This is evil. This is evil. And they've perverted all of these things. But like I said before, a lot of the things with religion are almost akin to spirituality. It's been skewed or twisted in a different way.
Absolutely. You got a new album coming out too, right?
Yes.
When's that dropping? You got a date?
I don't have a date for it yet. I'm still working on it. This is actually going to be my first album that, I'm not going to say my first album, because the first album that I produced entirely myself was Invincible. That was my first album. But it was a lot of samples. It was all samples. This one is just going to be straight, pure from the heart. Like, I want to create a spiritual album that is just, that's positive, you know? I want to really make something that's for me, and I feel like I deserve that for myself, to have a project that's completely produced, engineered, and rapped on by myself.
I love that, man.
Yeah, so this, I'm not gonna say the name of it yet, but this next album is gonna be a great album.
We'll link your Spotify so people can keep in touch with you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other closing messages, man? That was really cool.
I just want to say, man, you know, y'all open up your mind, dig into something deeper. You know, don't be, and really truly what I want to say is follow your instinct and your intuition, because that's what's going to really guide you to all the places that you need to be. Don't listen to everybody else that is in your head. The voices in your head of the scenarios and things that you create in your mind, like, oh, this person might say this if I do this. That is you. That is all you. Like, you're your biggest enemy, and you only realize that until you face yourself.
I love that, man. We'll link everything below, your socials. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, bro.
Part 2. See you guys.